Alright, next section, I'm going to whack this one down to the next page, is all about timing of intake. Skip meals. The questions I'm asking here is, do they eat 3 meals a day? Do they have a breakfast, a lunch and a dinner? Are those foods just eaten at that time, or are they actual meals? You know, do they have a cereal? Do they have eggs? What do they have for breakfast? It's not just a muesli bar or up and go. It's an actual meal. So if I dive into the day here, have a look at this one here, we can see that there is clearly a breakfast at 7 o'clock. There is clearly a lunch here with sandwich and apple and rice crackers at 12:30, and there is clearly a dinner here with the tortillas. So I'd go through my 4 days and I'd say, do they eat breakfast, lunch and dinner? Is it at quite consistent times? And is it a meal rather than just a collection of little snacks or something like that? Okay, so really nice, easy section there where you're just stating. Now some of you will just simply state, yes, eats 3 meals a day, or doesn't skip any meals, and that would be fine. For the next one, we'll want to go back to our half and half scenario here. And this one here, we're interested in when they eat the most calories or least calories in the day. So you'll see it's broken into breakfast, morning snacks, lunch, afternoon snacks, dinner, and late snacks. So what we could do now is we take our cursor and we go into the calories column here, and I look at breakfast and I go, right, how many calories in that breakfast? I simply highlight the calories here. Down below, you'll see here the sum has added up, 532.75 calories. So I'd be putting in breakfast 573 calories. So morning snacks is anything eaten between breakfast and lunch. So we look at the 9 o'clock and 10:30 snacks here, and we take all of those calories. We look down and we see 970 calories eaten there. So a big morning snack sort of intake, 970 calories there. We can comment on that later. Lunch is obviously 12:30. Take all of the calories from lunch, pop it on the table at 449. Afternoon snacks is anything eaten between lunch and dinner. So again, I've got 3 o'clock, and I've got a 5:45 snack there as well. That yields 459 calories. And then we've got dinner, yielding 753 calories on the roundup, and a late snack here as well, 346 calories. Okay, if we do this over the 4 days, we're going to be able to see, oops, you'll have an extra table on your one there, an extra column. Let's do that now. So if we do that over 4 days, we'll be able to see a pattern, or if a pattern emerges here. Do they have a similar sized breakfast every day? Are they eating more calories towards the end of the day or start of the day? You can see that big morning snack thing. I'd want to know if that's consistent with what's going on across the 4 days. You also start to think about, is it the right place for them to be eating these calories? All right? Is there a decent calorie spread between breakfast, lunch and dinner? And what about exercise? We start thinking about, okay, there's a lot of calories here in the morning, but there you see 11:30 in the morning exercise. Is that okay because of the exercise that's happening there? So is there a pattern to the calorie intake? When do they eat most? When do they typically eat least? Or is there no pattern at all and it changes from day to day? Some brief comments on that is what I'm looking for there. So you can see all of these things in the table format are the kind of things you can share with the client, and they can see pretty much immediately what you're talking about. If we go back up, we're talking about clearly where they're under and overeating in terms of that. You can show them clearly where they're under and overeating around the serving sizes, giving them some good information, and here where they're eating and how that works out in terms of calorie spread across the day. So danger things you'd look out for there are large intakes at night when there's not a lot of activity going on. That's really dangerous, particularly for our weight loss clients. Alright, getting into the last two little bits of the assessment here, eating around exercise. Current recommendations for eating around exercise. I'm going to chuck these in, and you're welcome to grab these off the video here. So we've covered this in class, that pre-eating we're looking for 100 to 200 Gs, mainly complex carbs. Okay, and that is, remember, that varies depending on how big you are, how much exercise you're looking to do, the intensity of the exercise and how long it goes for will dictate whether you go more towards the 100 or the 200. Okay. We also want to keep fat and protein to a minimum. around this time frame, and of course the time frame is between, this should be eaten between 2 to 4 hours from exercise. And of course the time frame will differ depending on the GI of the food you're eating, the amount of fibre it has in it, that kind of stuff. And of course the time available. If you're having an early morning workout, you may not be able to fit all that in. During exercise, we know that only after 60 minutes of exercise would you consider consuming some simple carbs. And the rate there, you'll remember, is 30 to 60 G per hour after the first hour. Best probably taken in liquid form. Finally, post-training, we're looking at 1 gram per kg of body weight carbs, any type, okay. And of course that's again provided you're not on a weight loss journey and this workout's not done last thing at night. Okay, you also want to be trying to yield 20 to 30 grams of protein in most instances after a decent training. So if that's what you're supposed to be doing, the next step is to compare that to clients eating around exercise for each session of exercise they do. So if I go into the table here, I isolate on day 1. The first session he does here is Monday Fitness. I'm going to go up to 4 hours before 11:30, so I will count 7, it's 4.5 away. And you can see there that it's yielding 166 grams of carbs. Okay, so day 1, 4 hours prior to exercise. That means over the 4.5 hours prior to exercise consumes 166 G carbohydrate, which is good. Now the thing I would look at here is the amount of fat though. And you can see there that 49 grams of fat is too much, so 49 Gs, I wouldn't call that low fat, is too much fat to be eating. However, okay, he's not going for over 90 minutes according to this thing here, so we look at the post-eating. And of course I should have added in here post-training within an hour is ideal. And he's eaten pretty quickly after. And you can see that he's had about 80 grams of carbs, not far away from his 85 kilos. And he's had only 14 grams of protein, which is not enough. So I would say post-training 80 Gs carbs, which is okay, but only 15 grams protein. Okay, so you do the same thing for each exercise session. You've got the gym session number 2 there, and give the same details, and at the end you should be able to give me a summary of how they're doing against the pre, during and post recommendation.